Hi all. I've got a bit of an experiment I want to try today, and I thought I would share it with everyone because for me, this is something which I had wondered about for a long time. Just to explain, I would describe my diet as flexitarian, that I'm not vegan, I'm not vegetarian, I do eat meat, but I do try to reduce it now and then, and I'm happy to try vegan stuff now and then. And I might move towards that way in the future, but at the moment I'm still eating meat and dairy products and all that as well. So, what I wanted to do, this was a project that I had in mind for a long time. I think the more when I've had vegan meals, I've always kind of thought I like this stuff, but I know about some things that I really like myself, and one of the things that I really like is a proper full English breakfast, which to many people seems like the antithesis of what might be considered a vegan meal. So I went on a search, and this experiment is not a cheap experiment. This is a one-time kind of experiment I'm doing at the moment because I want to see if it can be done. So I'm not going to lie, this was not the sort of, I wouldn't be able to afford to do this every weekend. But maybe in the future, if these products become more available generally, particularly I'm in Canada, in Toronto, where although it's Toronto and a lot of things are available, we don't have some of these products easily available, and I'll explain a bit of that right now. So you're probably thinking, what's a full English breakfast? Traditional full English breakfast usually has things like English bacon, a banger, some egg, some mushrooms, tomatoes. Black pudding is a big part too. For some, not all. I'm a fan of black pudding. So I've looked up these things, mug of tea, some mushrooms, and that kind of stuff as well. So I've put these things together, and I'm going to show you some of the products that I'm going to be using today. I'm going to be trying it out. I got some vegan bacon, which is a soy-based meat protein, or soy-based protein. So it's not something which I should have a lot of because of my own personal health issues, but I'm still can do it now and then. So I'm gonna have some of that. Many of you will be familiar with the Beyond Meat products. This is the mild ones because I thought it might be a little closer in flavor to an English banger. Although we'll have to see. It'd be nice to have a vegan Cumberland version. HP sauce, it turns out, is the original formula, and this fruity one is vegan. Heinz baked beans, not totally surprised, but I did check, it is vegan. There's a vegan butter that I'm going to use for cooking things like the mushrooms. This Miyoko's cashew-based butter. I use it when I'm cooking things for a vegan recipe. I make Welsh cakes using this instead of regular butter when I'm making vegan Welsh cakes. Potatoes, tomato, some portobello mushroom. But the two kind of more expensive products or harder ones to get, and this is supposed to be coming to Canada soon. Apparently, it's going to be more available in Walmarts and Whole Foods. I think are going to be carrying it. I had to go to a specialty shop in Toronto, which happened to carry it, and I gather some of the other more specialty shops like Summerhill Market in Toronto do get it occasionally. So hopefully it will make it out more broadly, and it wasn't super expensive, but this is called Just Egg, which is a plant-based egg substitute, which supposedly is going to be pretty good. I've tried a few different vegan egg substitutes before and didn't like them as much for eating directly, but I do use them in cooking. The Earth Island vegan egg is excellent for making my Welsh cakes with. But the one thing that was really hard to get, and I pay a lot of money for it to try this one time, is a vegan black pudding. Now in the UK, this goes for £1.69, so about less than $3 Canadian. And I think I had ordered from Dessert Cart, which was good. It was they could get it to me, and it didn't take that long. It took a couple days, I think. But it did cost me probably close to $40 in the end, just to get it shipped over from the UK and or wherever it was coming from and delivered to me. So those are the main products. Oh, and English breakfast, isn't complete without proper tea. There's a few other things that I'll have with my meal, and we'll get to that. But I just wanted to kind of introduce this idea. I'm calling it the full Venglish. We'll see how it goes, and hopefully we'll find a bit more as we keep going, and I will give you the results of my taste test when I eat it, especially for the black pudding, because I'm really curious about how that is going to taste in comparison to what I'm used to when I have black pudding, as hard as it is to get black pudding when you're here. I think as well the vegan black pudding might have a broader audience in Canada, because many people in Canada are put off by black pudding because of what it's normally made with, which would not be vegan. Many of you can just Google it and you'll find out probably why people get put off by it, but it is supposed to be very nutritious for you. I suspect this vegan version might also be very nutritious as well. It does have a lot of enriched ingredients on there, so we'll see how it goes. Almost forgot, one other thing I was getting for the English breakfast was vegan bread. Apparently there are non-vegan breads out there. I don't know a lot about bread making, so I really don't know the ingredients of them. But this Stone Mill vegan bread I got in Loblaws, and it touts itself as vegan, so I'm going to be going with that for my toast. Oh, and the other thing was I put milk in my tea usually, so and the oat milk. I don't really like soy milk as well, because I mentioned earlier the soy issues with my own health. I do use a splash of soy when I'm making soy milk when I'm making Welsh cakes, because I gather the soy has more of a binding quality to it as a substitute where normally you would be using milk. So anyway, these are the products that I will be also using with my breakfast. These potatoes I boiled up last night. They are boiled because it's a lot easier to cook them up faster on the stove. So you don't have to boil them first, but I find it produces a nicer, softer fried potato. Just throw in a knob of the vegan butter, because this skillet is getting pretty hot. Some rosemary. Just egg. Oh. They're not all that big. They did say that you can make them in your toaster, so that's not that surprising. But yeah, they're probably about the size of a folding wallet, and not very thick, so kind of neat. So it looks pretty similar to black pudding. It's not exactly the same consistency, but I think once you cook it, that might turn out. So we'll see how it goes. It definitely has the same appearance, a very similar appearance to black pudding. Black pudding sometimes kind of curls up a bit when you cook it, and really this is just a very quick cook through. Well, I put it in slices usually, and it looks very similar. Maybe a little closer to the more oatmeal-y kind that you usually get in the northern parts. It looks pretty convincing. If anybody's wondering what I'm doing with this, it's to so that the oil doesn't go down the sink, so we don't get fatbergs. You just end up putting the whole jar in the garbage at some point. So here it is, my full Venglish, which I've done a little video on. Hopefully we'll be able to use some of that as like B-roll. Just a couple of lessons learned while we're doing this, that the vegan butter got really smoky while I was cooking with it. So that's one thing to, I guess, keep note of if you're going to cook with it as a frying medium. I use it in Welsh cakes and don't have any problems with smoking on it. I was also using a skillet that I usually use in the oven, so that might have also caused some of the smoke issues. But it generally cooked as one would expect black pudding to cook. So it looks pretty good. I'm going to give it a test first and let you know if it tastes like I would expect for black pudding. It's about the same consistency. I'd say it's not as rich as black pudding usually is, but the taste is there. I think it's not far off. It's still something nice to have with an English breakfast. I think it would still be quite nice, even if it's not exactly the same. I said there is oatmeal in it, which I usually get the black pudding that doesn't have really much oatmeal in it. So that might be also a bit of the taste difference that I'm noticing in it. It might be closer to the more oatmeal kind of black puddings, but still not bad. I did overdo it a little bit on cooking some of the bacon, so I went through a few extra pieces while I was, extra rashers while I was doing it, because they were they were burning a bit quickly. Some tomato, and my Beyond Meat banger. That came out pretty good. And finally, the eggs. As I was cooking them in the skillet and using the butter, because it was so much black material, they look a bit gray right now. But that's really because of the fact that I burnt so many things inside that skillet, because it was going a bit hotter probably than I needed to cook it. But let's see what the Just eggs are like. I also put a bit of onion in the pan when I was cooking them, just to make them a little bit like more traditional scrambled eggs. I would note that the Just eggs that I bought were of one kind of the Just eggs. Apparently there is also bottles of Just egg that you can get and pour, which would probably make a much easier deal if you want to make more traditional style of scrambled eggs. Usually when I have a full English, I don't have it scrambled eggs. I have over hard or over easy eggs. But this does certainly look the part. I would say it's an exact match, or very, very close. I didn't make a non-vegan meal to put beside it to test out to see, what the one tasted like the other one. But going by my memory, I'd say that's a really, really good egg substitute for eating with, because it does really taste like egg. The people who market it do say that it's higher in protein than your average egg. The little bits that I got, and I noted them when I was doing the video, I don't know if we'll use that part of the footage, but they come in frozen small squares, probably not much big, or maybe about the same size as these small pieces of vegan bread that I've got. So they're not giant, but they do cook pretty easily. Just put them in the pan, and then I broke them up a bit with the cooking tool I was using, just to make them a little bit closer to scrambled eggs. But all in all, I'd say this is a pretty good meal. Oh, the vegan bacon, I'll just have a bit more of it. I did have some while I was cooking, because I said I burned a couple of rashers. But the consistency when you're cooking it isn't quite the same, and it's not going to be quite like English bacon, but we'll see. There's definitely a bacon taste to it. Consistency of material is still a little different. It's a little softer, I would say, in some spots, but almost a little more brittle in some other ways. But it definitely has a bacon taste to it. So we've got the mushrooms, the beans, potato, vegan bread, vegan black pudding, which is not bad. I quite like it. And the vegan bacon and Beyond sausage. So the mild one is not too far off from a traditional banger. I will be using my HP sauce, but I didn't want to do that first, because I wanted to taste the products more on their own. And as usual with these bottles, it probably has a little bit of a while to be able to get it before I can get it out of the bottle. Anyway, that'll be it. Oh, there we go. We got some more coming out of that. I'll put it for my eggs. I don't really use the HP sauce for anything but my eggs. Well, there was some coming out. We'll get some more. I'll try it later on. But that's the full Venglish. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully these products will become more easily available in Canada and North America. The vegan black pudding is definitely a special thing to have, and like I said, it's cheap as chips in the UK, so it's going to be something which I would hope to see over here fairly soon if other producers start making it. And given that it has the added benefit of probably appealing to a broader audience than just vegan or vegetarian people who want to do something neat with their breakfast. Okay, thank you.